All right.
I'm good right here. This is good.
How's our sound? All
Can
right.
you hear me now?
All right. Everyone's his chance, and you know this guy is Matt Shively, second season. Why is the hair not
I have to tell you,
Shively?
it's Shively.
All right, let's start over again.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's okay.
Everybody, this is Chance, and I'm here with Matt Shively. You better get it right. The hair is not fully slicked back like the audition. What's going on?
It will never be slicked back again. I made the mistake at the audition of doing my hair like that because I thought it was a good look. And they loved the look so much that they decided to keep it forever, and I cannot convince them to change it. So luckily I look different outside of the show, so that's a good thing.
Hey, but it booked you immediately.
It did. Not immediately, but pretty. So they say, not immediately, but I like to think it was.
It was instant. They saw that hair.
It was just the hair. It had nothing to do with my performance. They just liked the hair, and that was it.
That's not true. Now,
We'll see.
There was no chemistry read also.
There wasn't.
That's so strange.
It was very strange, and it was very rare to do that. And the fact that we ended up all having so much chemistry together, and the fact that we all love each other so much now is crazy. Crazy.
Now this goes back to all the way like 8th grade. You landed an agent. I was trying to like get a girl to hold my hand.
I wanted to do it in 4th grade, and my mom wouldn't let me because of the rejection. And then finally, by 8th grade, she finally said, "Okay, we'll take classes and stuff." And luckily, I got an agent through that. And it took a while for it to actually kick in. I didn't really book anything big until I was 18, but it was well worth it.
Well, one of the things you had mentioned about like the Nickelodeon, Disney success, sometimes it's hard to break out of that bubble, as great as it is. How did you feel? Was that something you had to overcome?
It was an overwhelming feeling when it all ended, because it was kind of like, you have no idea what's going to happen next. But I've been really, really fortunate. I've learned from some of the best, not personally, but I've watched a lot of their work and kind of taken from them, and so it's worked out in my favor on that side.
And you said also growing up you would watch so many different shows, and now standing next to these people, what was that like? 'Cause you're still like a fan, and
the weirdest thing is working with people that I used to watch, because at no point, you always say like, oh, I hope I can work with that person someday, but you never really truly believe that it's going to happen, and now it is happening, and it's very surreal. It still hasn't kicked in. It never will. I don't think it'll ever kick in.
well, there's a movie coming out, Summer of Something. I might go check it out.
Yeah.
Well, who's that guy?
Summer of 8 is actually, it's me along with a bunch of people who are, just exploding now. Shelley Hennig, who's on Teen Wolf, and Carter Jenkins, who has a freeform show coming out, and Bailey Noble. The list goes on. It's about 8 friends who, spend their last day of summer break before they all go to college, and it's a really beautiful film. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
Well, one of the things you said is working is the best acting class. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah. I mean, being comfortable in front of a camera is, I get nervous with this because I don't do all of this stuff very often, but I'm sure
You're killing it.
in the next few years it'll become, like second nature, and I'll just be able to do it overnight. And that's with acting. It's the more I work, the better I get, just because the more I'm comfortable and kind of know how things are being shot and know how things are going to come out, and so it makes it easier.
Speaking to things being shot, one camera, was that a difficult thing, or did you think it was going to take forever?
Well, I went from multicam, and I kind of took that for granted because you really don't work very much. And so going from that into moving into single cam, where you're working like 14, 15-hour days, it was something it took time. The more mature I got, the better I got at being patient about it. And now, luckily, working with all of these amazing people, time just flies.
When was the realization that, wait, this is really catching on? Because I know you mentioned that there was a tweet from someone from the pilot that grandparents loved the way one of the characters came out, and they all saying, I just came out the same way.
That's been a constant thing, which has been really, really awesome, is that we... every episode that airs, we get 3 or 4 different people, and even though it's just 3 or 4, it still is so big. And they be like, I wasn't sure what to do, and I wasn't comfortable enough, and then all of a sudden they decided, screw it, I'm going to go, and I'm going to come out to my parents, and their parents ended up being accepting. And I've talked to a couple people who have asked for advice, and come back to me a month later, and they're like, I finally did it, and they were so accepting. And so the fact that we're doing a sitcom that is actually making a difference in this world is just awesome.
It truly is life-changing for that person's life, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
How about it changing your life? Because you mentioned, I could kind of get in places now. How are you dealing with that?
I don't really like leaving my house all that much, honestly. I watch a lot of movies and a lot of television, so I'm usually stuck indoors. Unless it's a friend's birthday, I don't usually leave my house.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like me, all right.
Yeah, I play video games and I watch television. I live a pretty boring life outside of filming this show.
Outside of being a star and being on billboards,
Yes.
very, very boring.
Yes, I never even saw a billboard. I was in my closet the whole time just hanging out.
Well, I remember you had the one billboard when it first started, and then all of a sudden now it's like across the country, there's billboards
it's
everywhere.
crazy. It gets to the point where you kind of forget that it's there, and then you drive past one and you're like, holy crap, that was me, and that's probably been there for a month. It's very weird.
I just took out that telephone pole, but that's okay.
Yeah.
One other thing, the show changed so much in the first season from different time things, and then there was a time, daylight savings time, I think.
Yeah.
One night. When is it on now? When can they catch
It is on at 9:30, 8:30 Central every Tuesday, right after Fresh Off the Boat. And I think it's going to stay that way, and I would really like it to, because I don't like having to explain to everybody that it's changing nights or it's changing hours. So that's where it's at now, and I hope that's where it stays.
All right. Well, everyone, slick hair or no slick hair, this is the man. How can they find you? Social media? If they need life advice?
Yeah, Twitter, I'm at Matt Shively 1. Instagram, I'm just at Matt Shively. I don't have a Facebook, so hit me up on those ones.
It's as easy as that, guys. He's the man. Check out season 2. We are here. We're honored, and it's Chance. I'm out.
Thank you so much.